Hi, everybody. Happy Saturday to you. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. And if you're in Billings, I hope you're enjoying the really beautiful weather we had today. It was sunny and nice, and it felt like spring. Tonight, we will continue on in our devotionals that are from Adam Hamilton's book, 40 Days of Reflection from the Way, with Money and Power. This is an excerpt focusing and centering around the temptation of Christ, primarily in wealth and greed, coming from Matthew 4, verses 8 through 10. Again, the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their splendor, and said to Jesus, "All these things I will give to you, if you will fall down and worship me." And Jesus said to him, "Away with you, Satan, for it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve him only." Here's the devotional for tonight. In April of 2011, a 17-year-old Chinese high school student named Wang made news around the world after it was discovered that he had sold one of his kidneys to buy an iPad and an iPhone. His mother later reported that, in fact, Wang had received $3,500 for his kidney, and only after receiving the money did he decide to buy the technology devices. Nevertheless, Wang's story became a kind of parable about confused values and the lure of money. 5 people were arrested for luring Wang to sell his kidney, including the surgeon who harvested it. We are shocked by such stories of misguided and potentially deadly acts in pursuit of more. And yet, aren't many of us in a way guilty of similar acts of greed? I think of the economic crisis of 2008 that unfolded first in the United States and later on around the world, which continues to shape our economy years later. Americans mortgaged their futures to buy iPads and iPhones, big screens, televisions, mini mansions. Even those not living beyond their means benefited from increases in the stock market and housing market that resulted from unbridled spending. Jesus, too, was tempted by wealth. The fact that he knew its allure allowed him to teach powerfully on the subject of money. He taught his disciples that one's life does not consist of the abundance of possessions. He preached that we cannot serve both God and money. He taught and modeled for his disciples that one would be great, that the one who would be great among you must become your servant. In this particular temptation, Jesus came face to face with the lure of wealth and power and said, "No, for it is written, worship the Lord your God only." In what ways do you struggle with materialism? How much energy do you store treasures up from earth? How much energy do you devote storing treasures up on earth? Jesus was right to associate this temptation to idol worship. Without even realizing it, we can make the desire for wealth into an idol. Jesus knew this temptation, and he sought to show us a better way. Wealth is not evil in and of itself, but Paul rightly wrote, "The love of money is the root of all kinds of evil," in 1 Timothy 6. Paul offered the antidote, which he advised to do good, be rich in good works, generous, and ready to share, thus storing up the treasure of a good foundation for the future, so that we may take hold of the life that really is true life. So I think about this particular devotion that Adam Hamilton wrote, and I think about the generosity of our church. And I talk about it a lot, but it's because I believe it. Our church family was able to pay off our enormous mortgage in the middle of a global pandemic, in the middle of so much uncertainty. We did it. Together, we chose God and kept God on the throne and realized that money is simply just a gift from God. That our money is a blessing to us, yes, but we are also called to be stewards of it. And because of our successful capital campaign at Hope United Methodist Church, we are debt-free. We no longer have the mortgage that hangs around our neck like a millstone. And the possibilities of walking into the future are endless with the fact that we don't have a $5,000 a month mortgage on our church building. Again, when I tell people that $380,000 later, and a year later, we were able to pay off the church mortgage. They were shocked. They said, there's no way you did that in the midst of COVID, where everyone was tightening their purse strings and everybody was certain that the end was near, impending doom was coming. But then I always responded and said, you just don't know my congregation. They are the most generous people who understand that God is in charge and they are not. So as we are tempted by money, by iPads or brand new things, shiny cars, new houses, whatever it might be, let us remember that it's so easy to make idols out of those things, where Jesus is our true source of joy, love, and purpose. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I hope to see you tomorrow in person or online at church this Sunday at 9:30. And I also want to remind you that it is daylight savings time in the morning, so please turn your clocks forward an hour. We are springing forward. Bye.